Let's talk about the filth that's starting to come out in the early days of the Diddy trial. This, of course, is P. Diddy. Surprise, surprise, he's a creep. Surprise, surprise, he's done horrible things.
Are you surprised by the evidence that's already coming out in the criminal trial?
No, I'm not surprised. I experienced some of those things. Witnessed violence.
John Diddy Combs is not just fighting for his freedom. He's fighting for his legacy, his empire, and his very identity. This isn't just a courtroom drama. This is a battle that some say echoes the darkest chapters of history, where power, race, and justice collide in a fiery storm of allegations, accusations, and speculation. Which is where his series, Diddy's rise from a Harlem hustler to one of the most powerful figures in music and business, is nothing short of extraordinary. We've watched him dominate the charts, revolutionize the fashion world, and stake his claim as a media mogul, all while amassing a fortune that made him a billionaire. But now, that very success seems to have turned into his greatest enemy.
So Diddy, after the Cassie lawsuit, gets hit with a bunch of lawsuits, and then ultimately the raids, and then this criminal case.
As the cameras flash outside the courtroom and protesters gather, we can feel the tension, the fear, and the rage. Activists are rallying behind Diddy, claiming this trial isn't about justice, but about silencing a powerful black man who dared to soar too high. The words from his legal team ring out like a rallying cry. No white person has ever been the target of a remotely similar prosecution. And when you dig into the details, the charges do feel like something out of a twisted screenplay. Racketeering, coercion, transporting people across state lines for alleged misconduct. It's a narrative that feels designed to destroy not just a man, but a symbol of black excellence, wealth, and power. But here's where the story takes a darker, more sinister turn. Whispers have begun circulating about an elite, shadowy world that Diddy may have found himself entangled in. Some are calling it the Billionaire Blackmail Club. Imagine a secret society where the wealthiest of the wealthy pull strings, orchestrate scandals, and use their power to eliminate rivals. Could it be that Diddy's alleged recordings of his private escapades, known as freak-offs, made him a target within this dangerous circle? What if the very leverage he used to build his empire has become the weapon used to destroy him?
The feds, Al Capone style, have not charged everything under the sun. They've charged three main charges: racketeering, trafficking, and the transport of a prostitute. And I'll tell you, I don't know about the racketeering charge. It's pretty sweeping. And I'll tell you what the general element.
We can't ignore the rumors that powerful figures within this elusive club may have conspired to ensure Diddy's downfall. Rival factions, personal vendettas, and the high stakes of maintaining control in an elite world make this courtroom drama feel less like reality and more like a high-stakes thriller. And the question lingers, is Diddy truly guilty of these heinous acts, or is he the victim of a calculated takedown designed to send a chilling message to other black billionaires? Then there's the law itself, the Mann Act. A century-old statute steeped in controversy and racial bias, it was originally designed to police the movement of women across state lines under the guise of moral protection. But history tells a more troubling tale. It's the same law used to bring down Jack Johnson, the first black heavyweight boxing champion, for daring to date white women. Chuck Berry faced it too, accused of transporting a teenager across state lines. And now, over a century later, we're seeing it weaponized against Diddy in a way that feels eerily familiar. His legal team has been relentless in pointing out the racial undertones of this prosecution, arguing that Diddy has been singled out because of his identity and his influence.
Centerpiece of a lot of what happened during direct testimony were freak-offs. And what the prosecution tried to show was that he forced and or coerced her into doing these freak-offs. And we've talked about this earlier this week, that at least my opinion is that in a lot of these, the prosecution just didn't close the loop. It was something she felt.
The details of the case are both shocking and murky. Federal prosecutors allege that Diddy used his influence to orchestrate freak-offs, controlling women and male participants in ways that are being described as coercive and degrading. They claim he recorded these encounters, using the footage as leverage over those involved. But Diddy's team is fighting back fiercely, painting a picture of a man who may have lived a controversial lifestyle, but is now being unfairly targeted because of his race and wealth. They've even pointed to figures like Eliot Spitzer, a former New York governor linked to a high-profile scandal, who was never charged under the same laws. And let's not forget the allegations swirling around Diddy's empire. Kidnapping, coercion, violence. It's a laundry list of accusations that seem designed to dismantle not just his career, but his entire legacy. The trial has brought forth testimony from alleged victims, painting grim pictures of substance-fueled encounters and disturbing power dynamics. Yet, Diddy's lawyers insist these are exaggerated claims, part of a narrative pushed by those who want to see him fall.
They saw evidence in the case. They immediately honed in on racketeering and they started saying, why is this racketeering with one guy? And they're charging this one guy. They had a real problem with that. They did not have a problem with the Mann Act. They found him guilty on the Mann Act. And they hung 6 to 6 on record.
But if we zoom out and look at the bigger picture, the question becomes even more alarming. Is this trial really about justice, or is it about sending a message? A message to other Black moguls that no matter how high you climb, there's always a ceiling, and stepping beyond it comes at a cost. The echoes of history are deafening here, from the racialized prosecutions of the past to the unspoken rules of power and influence in the present. The courtroom itself has become a battleground, not just for Diddy's freedom, but for something much larger. His team is using every tool at their disposal, from pointing out the racial bias in the Mann Act to highlighting the selective nature of his prosecution. They've painted him as a victim of systemic racism, a powerful Black man being taken down because he refused to play by the unspoken rules of an elite world. And as we sit here, watching this drama unfold, we can't help but wonder, if this could happen to Diddy, what does it mean for anyone else who dares to rise too high?
Dishonest, violent, horrible. A promiscuous swinger who lied to and cheated on multiple partners. Incredibly, that's how Sean Diddy Combs' own lawyers describe the billionaire music mogul, currently facing serious trafficking charges in a New York court.
The stakes could be higher. Diddy's empire is on the brink of collapse. His enemies are circling, and the media frenzy shows no signs of slowing down. Every detail of the trial is dissected, from the chilling testimony of alleged victims to the legal team's fiery rebuttals. And through it all, one question looms. Is this trial about justice, or is it about making an example of one of the most powerful figures in Black culture? Could this be part of a larger, systematic effort to silence voices of influence and power? As the world watches, we're left with a chilling realization that this isn't just Diddy's story. It's a story about race, power, and the unrelenting forces that seem determined to keep certain people in their place. And as the trial continues, the truth remains shrouded in layers of scandal, conspiracy, and speculation. Who is really pulling the strings here, and what will the ultimate fallout be? But what if these so-called freak-offs weren't just extravagant displays of indulgence? What if they were something far darker, a calculated system of control? Chilling whispers from insiders suggest that these gatherings were more than just wild parties. They were rituals. Alleged victims have described a disturbing pattern: lavish setups in luxury hotels, participants handpicked for their vulnerability, and a cocktail of substances and manipulation designed to break down their defenses. Could these events have been Diddy's way of grooming loyalty, ensuring silence, and asserting dominance over those in his orbit? When we connect the dots, a picture begins to emerge, one that feels less like a music mogul's lifestyle and more like the inner workings of a tightly controlled underworld. And then there's the testimony. It's hard to ignore the haunting stories coming out of the trial. Witnesses have painted scenes of 3-day hotel nights where participants were allegedly coerced into degrading situations. One woman, speaking through tears, described how she relied on substances just to endure. She detailed how she would feel estranged from herself during these encounters, as if she had to become someone else to survive. Another revealed that Diddy would use recordings of these nights as leverage, allegedly holding them over people to ensure their continued compliance. At what point does this stop being about consensual adult relationships and start looking like something far more sinister?
Well, the things that I experienced with him were monster-like. That stuff almost destroyed my life.
But the rumors don't stop there. Hiding behind the primary news is an even more sinister claim, that the individual maintained what some have referred to as a termination roster. According to whispers from former associates, this wasn't a literal list of names, but rather a figurative one, a way of describing how those who crossed him would mysteriously vanish from his life, sometimes permanently. There are stories of careers ruined, opportunities stolen, and even cryptic claims about people who disappeared altogether. Is this just tabloid nonsense, or could there be a chilling truth behind the speculation? We've seen this pattern before with other powerful figures, where fear and silence became tools to maintain control. Could Diddy be following that same playbook? We can't ignore the whispers about how far Diddy's alleged control extended. Insiders have hinted at a network of enforcers, people who weren't just loyal to him, but were allegedly tasked with keeping others in line. These weren't just assistants or employees. These were individuals who, according to rumors, operated in the shadows, ensuring that Diddy's rules were followed to the letter. Whether it was making sure no footage leaked, keeping participants quiet, or even intimidating those who spoke out, this alleged system of control paints a chilling picture. Was this an empire built on fear as much as it was on fame?
How many people came through his orbit? How many people could this have happened to? And how did he get away with it for so long.
And then there's the financial side. Diddy's empire wasn't just built on music or fashion, it was rooted in an intricate web of investments, partnerships, and deals. But some reports suggest that even his money was used as a weapon. Alleged victims have claimed that financial dependence played a key role in their inability to leave. Diddy's generosity was legendary, but it seems there may have been strings attached. From paying rent to funding lavish lifestyles, was his financial support less about kindness and more about keeping people under his thumb? If so, how many lives were tied to his fortune? And how many of those people now feel trapped in his downfall? Adding to the intrigue are the strange coincidences surrounding people who attempted to challenge him. Industry insiders have raised eyebrows at the number of individuals who seem to vanish from the public eye after falling out with Diddy. Whether it was a former associate, a business rival, or even an ex-partner, the pattern is hard to ignore. Were these simply the results of bad deals and broken relationships? Or is there something more deliberate at play? It's almost as though anyone who dared to stand against him was erased from the narrative, their voices silenced as his empire continued to grow.
Referred to me as Wild King Nights. And what a Wild King Night was when him and a guest would go to a hotel room or be at his home, his bedroom, and they would have intimate gatherings. I would have to go and prep that hotel room, which consisted of baby oil Astroglide.
And what about the recordings themselves? The prosecution has hinted that these alleged tapes aren't just evidence of private encounters but may reveal a more disturbing story. Some speculate that these recordings could implicate others in Diddy's inner circle or even expose secrets about powerful figures outside his immediate orbit. Could these tapes be the real reason his enemies are circling now? If they exist, they might not just be a tool for control, they could also be a time bomb waiting to explode. Threatening to take down more than just Diddy, the courtroom drama has also shined a light on Diddy's relationships with his closest allies. Former confidants are now testifying against him, sharing details that feel both intimate and damning. These betrayals raise an unsettling question. How much of Diddy's empire was built on genuine loyalty, and how much was maintained through manipulation or fear? The idea that even those closest to him are turning their backs suggests that the foundation of his power may not have been as unshakable as it once seemed. As more associates come forward, the cracks in his carefully crafted image grow wider.
I thought he was this clean businessman who rise to the top because he was such a powerful and smart, educated man. I had no idea that he had this other side to him. And when I started to get exposed to his lifestyle, I started to really realize, this guy has an addiction. It's not just, once every few weeks, it's every day, every hour.
Finally, let's not forget the role the media has played in all of this. For years, Diddy was a media darling, a man who could do no wrong in the public eye. But now the narrative has shifted and every headline seems designed to tear him down. Some argue that the press is complicit in his downfall, amplifying unproven claims and turning public opinion against him before the trial is even over. Others say it's simply justice catching up with a man who lived above the rules for far too long. Either way, the media frenzy ensures that this case isn't just about what happens in the courtroom, it's about what happens in the court of public opinion. Think about it. For years, his empire has operated on a level few could rival. He built his fortune on charisma, ambition, and a relentless drive to win. But behind the scenes, was there a darker side to his success? Some have drawn comparisons to other moguls who weaponized power to crush dissent, maintain their empires, and silence those who might threaten their thrones. Could it be that the same tactics that helped Diddy rise to the top are now dragging him to the bottom?
I want to start with alleged victim number 4, who goes by the name Mia. It's an alias. She is one of the people who is testifying where the judge has granted her anonymity. She is on the stand, but everybody in the courtroom has been warned. Do not reveal her identity. Do not even give a physical description of her.
And yet, as much as his defense team insists this is a racially motivated takedown, the prosecution's evidence is relentless. The courtroom has become a stage for shocking testimonies, audio recordings, and disturbing allegations. One witness described how she felt like a pawn in a game she couldn't escape, while another spoke of the emotional scars left behind by her time in Diddy's circle. Then, there's the prosecution's claim that Diddy's inner circle wasn't just complicit, they were part of the machinery that allowed this alleged abuse to thrive. From assistants who handled logistics to staff who reportedly transported substances and set up these infamous gatherings, the trial has pulled back the curtain on the infrastructure behind the empire. Still, the defense is playing hardball. They've leaned heavily on the argument that Diddy is being targeted because of his race and success. They've pointed out the racialized history of the Mann Act and questioned why no high-profile figures outside of Diddy's community have faced similar charges for comparable behavior. It's a powerful argument, especially when paired with the undeniable fact that the justice system has a long and troubling history of disproportionate disproportionately targeting black men. But does that argument hold up against the prosecution's mountain of evidence, or is it a distraction from the core allegations?
So she testified, excuse me, that she was Diddy's ex-assistant. She said he her, sexually assaulted her in various ways multiple times. He exacted unbelievable violence against her, threatened her, one point allegedly threatened to take her phone and use anything on the phone again.
And if this trial weren't chaotic enough, there's the lingering question of whether Diddy's downfall is entirely self-inflicted. His obsession with control, his alleged habit of recording private encounters, and his reported need to dominate those around him may have created the perfect storm. By keeping those recordings and allegedly using them as leverage, did he unintentionally create the very evidence now being used against him? Was his own hubris the trap door that led to his current situation? As the trial continues, the stakes couldn't be higher. Diddy's empire is crumbling, his reputation is in tatters, and the world is watching every move. This isn't just a battle over guilt or innocence, it's a fight for his legacy, his freedom, and his place in history. But even as we analyze the evidence, question the motives, and wonder who's really pulling the strings, one thing remains clear. This story is far from over.
Continue to engage in all these freak-offs with him, and he sounds really pissed off.
Hey, I really don't know what's going on with you, but I just want to just give you a heads up that I'm about to really disappear on you. You feel me? I'm not going to be playing these games with you at all, at all. So I don't know, you think you silently treating me, and you think I'm going to be, nah, you'll have a rude awakening.
And now we have to ask ourselves, is Diddy a victim of a system that's been stacked against him from the start? Or is he the architect of his own downfall? Are these allegations part of a conspiracy to silence a powerful black billionaire? Or are they the overdue reckoning of a man who thought he was untouchable? Let us know what you think in the comments below, and don't forget to stay tuned, because if you think this trial has revealed everything, think again. The next chapter could be even darker. Until next time, stay curious, stay questioning, and we'll see you soon.